Good evening, and yes, it's that time again, the time when the carcass of the cinema year lies prostrate before us, not unlike the post-Christmas turkey, and we all gather round to pick the bones. What kind of a year has it been? Well, not bad, but also not great. In the course of it, Tom Hanks got lucky again, Kevin Costner didn't, and Hugh Grant discovered that divine intervention is not necessarily all it's cracked up to be. Now, as usual, during this traditional amble through the seasons, I'll be highlighting in strictly chronological order of flatulence, bladders, bowels and cornflakes. Oliver Stone's much-hyped natural-born killers was dazzling in parts, but only in part. Quite considerably with Winona Ryder and Susan Sarandon in a thoughtful new version of Little Women, the absorbing American basketball documentary Hoop Dreams, and for hopeless insomniacs, a touch of history when for the first time the BBC broadcast the Oscars live from Hollywood. There'll be more about the Oscars in our movie news compilation, but damn it, I won't let this moment pass without saying that to give the award for Best Picture to Forrest Gump instead of Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction was fatuous, and that to name Tom Hanks Best Actor for playing the eponymous intellectually challenged Gump was grossly unfair on Nigel Hawthorne. But your choice of the best films of the year. Here it is, 1995's box office top 10 in Britain. At 10, Waterworld, Kevin Costner's financial fiasco, which actually did a lot better than predicted. At 9, Dumb and Dumber, Jim Carrey scored again with this mindless but very funny road movie. At 8, Pocahontas, this revisionist view of the young Indian princess, provided Disney with its annual hit. 7, Stargate, James Spader and Kurt Russell in a sci-fi adventure set in ancient Egypt, or somewhere similar anyway. At 6, Die Hard with a Vengeance, action man Bruce Willis back doing what he does best, ably assisted by Samuel L. Jackson. And 5, Interview with the Vampire, Tom Cruise as you've never seen him before, homoerotic for a start. 4, Apollo 13, Tom Hanks gets lost in space but finds a spot very near the top of the box office. And 3, Braveheart, Mel Gibson dons a kilt and a Scottish accent to direct and star in an impressive epic. At 2, Casper the Friendly Ghost, an unexpectedly huge success, aided by the excellent Christina Ricci. But the #1 film is Batman Forever, with the Caped Crusader, this time in the shape of Val Kilmer, taking nearly £20 million at the box office. Are you tempted in any way to give up Europe and go over to Hollywood and just sort of drive for the top, as it were, there?
No. I'm quite happy living in Europe. I've never been very good at living in America. The joke wears off after a few weeks, you know.
You were the highest-grossing woman star in America last year at the box office, is that right?
Yes, I was.
Oh, this must give you a lot of clout, doesn't it?
I would hope, but it doesn't seem. I keep waiting for someone to offer me $12 million, but no one has.
Tomorrow I have the gun, and I have the goal. Today it's just Joe and myself.
I don't get no gun, I don't get no girl. All I get is a car.
And a furry hat.
The fur hat.
Obviously, I mean, you have a long personal and professional relationship with Woody Allen,
Sure.
being director himself.
Yeah.
Did he influence you at all?
Well, I think, you know, anybody you're around, I hope some of it rubbed off. I really do. I have to say that he's in a different league.
My box office dropped 15 years ago. I never did well at the box office, and, you know, I did the exact same today, last year, the year before, and 15 years ago. I've always had a problem getting big audiences.
What do all these have in common? Liza Minnelli, Barbra Streisand, Glenn Close, Greta Scacchi, Helena Bonham Carter and Michelle Pfeiffer. Well, I'll tell you, at one time or another they were all going to play Evita, but then elbowed the idea. And what do they not have in common with Madonna? Simply that she is going to play Evita, directed by Alan Parker. Says here. Batman Forever, which sometimes felt like it, though it did break a box office record set by Jurassic Park when it took £1,200,000 on its opening day. Then too we had Bruce Willis and Jeremy Irons in Die Hard with a Vengeance, Sean Connery and Richard Gere in First Night, which wasn't really good enough to deserve a second night, Sylvester Stallone in Judge Dredd, and of course there was Kevin Costner's notorious Waterworld, after which Costner might well drop the second syllable of his name. Its budget almost submerged Hollywood, though Kevin Costner maintains indignantly that it wasn't anything like the reputed $185 million, merely a modest $175 million. If you reviewed the ridiculous budget, Waterworld was a disaster, but to be fair, if you reviewed the film itself, it wasn't at all bad. Indeed, it's already taken $243 million worldwide. Given that a film usually has to take 3 times its production costs to break even, Waterworld only has about $300 million to go. Chicken feed that? Well, it probably is to Kevin Costner. Still, here's some more of the year's movie news. In February, after much media hype and cautious dithering by the British Board of Film Classification, Oliver Stone's Natural Born Killers was finally given an 18 certificate. And wonder of wonders, in May, Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs was belatedly granted a video classification. Christopher Reeve, star of Superman, tragically fell from his horse in May, leaving him paralysed from the neck downwards. After intensive therapy, he's determined to walk again. The Oscars were predictably a triumph for Forrest Gump, which won 6 awards from 13 nominations. Quentin Tarantino won Best Original Screenplay with Pulp Fiction, and Britain's The Madness of King George was shamefully under-rewarded with only 1 Oscar for Best Production Design. Other British winners were Elton John and Tim Rice, Best Soundtrack for The Lion King, and the animators Alison Snowden and David Fine, who won with Bob's Birthday. Britain had a strong presence at Cannes, where Helen Mirren was named Best Actress for The Madness of King George, and the Best Actor prize went to Jonathan Pryce for his role as Lytton Strachey in Carrington. The Palme d'Or went to Bosnian director Emir Kusturica for his film Underground. The film world did well in the Queen's Honours List. Producer David Putnam was knighted, as was that backstage pillar of the industry, Sidney Samuelson. Director Alan Parker was given a CBE, and Norman Wisdom, now 80, was awarded an OBE. Richard Branson's Virgin Group took control of the MGM cinema chain. Is Branson now set on becoming a movie mogul? And is there no limit to his ambitions? Marlon Brando and Johnny Depp found themselves out of work when their film Divine Rapture folded in Ireland due to lack of money, and they all had to slink off home. Leavesden Aerodrome, the studio complex and main location for the latest Bond film GoldenEye, is to be turned into a family entertainment park and studio tour with a £200 million investment from the Malaysian-based Third Millennium Studios. A kind of Universal Studio Tour in Watford? Now there's glamour for you. O.J. Simpson astonishingly walked free after a murder trial which often seemed no less farcical than the Naked Gun films in which he featured, thus proving that for movie stars there usually is a happy ending, no matter what the early part of the script might suggest. And now a sad farewell to the good and the famous. Across to Los Angeles for Tom Brooks' overview of the film year in America.
This year, American cinemas have offered audiences an unusually large number of films, well in excess of 300 pictures. But only a few of the big Hollywood studio releases seem to have delivered true satisfaction.
Most of the movies I've enjoyed recently have been foreign films, like Muriel's Wedding from Australia, which is brilliant, and Shallow Grave, which is a Scottish film. There are a couple other movies, but none of them were mainstream, regular Hollywood movies. And I'm not some art house freak, granola type who only wants to watch, organic movies that aren't, made out of the mass-produced factory kind of Hollywood assembly line. But there really isn't much interesting.
There haven't been any movies that I've seen that I can say I really enjoyed, that I talk about to all my friends. That hasn't been happening this year.
I just think Hollywood's gotten too lazy. They think that if they can package something with a lot of special effects, that it's going to be something that the public buys automatically.
Hi, good evening. It's Entertainment Data.
Okay, GoldenEye, 276.
Okay.
Jumanji, 776.
Every day, Entertainment Data Incorporated calls up cinemas to track box office. Despite what moviegoers say about the quality of films, 1995 looks set to break domestic box office records. But it's the performance of Hollywood films overseas this year that's caused most excitement.
The international box office has been really exploding. It's been climbing at a much faster revenue pace than the U.S. It's far more important now than it used to be, and it continues to grow that way.
Online.
The increased importance of the overseas market has placed a premium on those Hollywood actors with international appeal. This year, Sylvester Stallone, even though his films did poorly in America, signed a $60 million three-picture deal. Now everyone from Jim Carrey to Harrison Ford, who's starring in a remake of the romantic comedy Sabrina, is getting paid a staggering $20 million a picture.
I think that we offer a service that is of value. I sit here and debate the value of this service, but it's up to the buyer, really, to determine the value of the service. They don't need to pay what they don't feel is a fair price.
The high salaries of movie stars have helped push up the average cost of films to more than $50 million. What's worried Tinseltown is that this year several extremely expensive pictures failed at the box office. Movies like Assassins, which cost $60 million, as well as the big-budget Strange Days.
This year has been unlike any other in that more big-budget, highly promoted, big-star, top-dollar movies have not only failed at the box office, they haven't had opening weekends, they haven't had opening days.
On a brighter note, 1995 has at least witnessed an improvement in the fortunes of women in Hollywood. We're not talking of a major feminist revolution here, just the fact that over the last few months, women have increased their presence both in front of the camera and behind it.
That foreground action is really nice, but it needs to happen closer to when he actually comes out.
Not only have more women directed films this year, but there have also been several pictures that deal with women bonding. Among them, How to Make an American Quilt, and Waiting to Exhale, which stars Whitney Houston and Angela Bassett. Another trend of 1995 was a cinematic fascination with Las Vegas, with the dark side of the American dream. Martin Scorsese's Casino chronicled mobster life in Vegas. Mike Figgis's Leaving Las Vegas and Paul Verhoeven's Showgirls were also set in Vegas. Showgirls, one of the most sexually explicit films ever released by Hollywood, was a spectacular failure at the box office.
We'd like to believe that the audience rose up morally and said, you know what, this is sleazy and we're not interested in seeing women portrayed this way, and please take this away. But it was also a very bad movie. So I'm not sure exactly what we can conclude from that.
It's holiday time in Hollywood, and the town is already full of Oscar talk. Everyone thinks Apollo 13 will get nominated. Oliver Stone's Nixon, with Sir Anthony Hopkins playing America's most infamous president, is also thought likely to get Academy attention. But it's a film packed full of British talent, Emma Thompson's adaptation of Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility, that many film industry insiders predict as the picture most likely to emerge as one of next year's strongest Oscar night contenders.
Poisoning the astronauts with every breath in and out.
Heads up, heads up.
And spokespeople will not comment further.
Go. Heads up, people. Look out now.
What's this?
That's what they gotta make.
One sock.
Once you have the sock in place, we're going to want you to bungee the entire filter assembly to the bulkhead, right above the limb cannon.
We're getting close to 15.
Houston, filters in place. Roger, 13.
Suit circuit relief to close. CO2 canister, select secondary. All right. Here goes. I can hear air moving.
Just breathe normal, fellas.
Aquarius, please advise on CO2 status.
Yeah, Houston, we're taking a look at those numbers right now.
We're still holding close to 15, Houston. Roger that, standing by.
Houston, the CO2 level has dropped to 9, and it is still falling.
Yes. Good job. That is good to hear, Aquarius. And you, sir, are a steely-eyed missile man.
With Apollo 13 following Forrest Gump and Philadelphia, Tom Hanks is probably the most bankable star in Hollywood. I imagine every script crossing any other actor's desk these days has already got Hanks's fingerprints on it. So he's all right, way up on top and probably practicing weightlifting with his Oscars. Recently won the European Film Academy's Felix Award as Film of the Year, and yet it got far less distribution in Britain than, for instance, The Awful 9 Months. Well, up to now, I've been more or less concentrating on the swans, but what about the turkeys, the duds, the deficient and the defective, the rickety and the ramshackle, the cinematic lead balloons? What follows is a list of the worst films of the year collated by the entire Film 95 team and presented in ascending order of lack of merit. At 10, Jade, writer Joe Esterhazy's sexual fantasies woven into a dim but horny thriller. 9, Mortal Kombat, based on a video game which is infinitely better acted. 8, The Quick and the Dead, Sharon Stone's western, not very quick, but very, very dead. 7, The Steal, Alfred Molina and Helen Slater in an alleged comedy from which some cad seems to have cut out all the jokes. At 6, Richie Rich, Macaulay Culkin in presumably childhood swan song. So long, Mac, it's been great. Well, sort of. 5, even cowgirls get the blues, and with this script, who could blame them? 4, First Night, Sean Connery as a strangely Scottish King Arthur, Richard Gere as the deadly itinerant sword fighter Lancelot the Kid. And 3, Exquisite Tenderness, exquisitely awful tale of a serial killer loose in a hospital. 2, to Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, and to Patrick Swayze and Wesley Snipes, Thanks for Nothing. But at number 1, 9 Months, The Turkey's Turkey, though I shall say no more because poor Hugh Grant has suffered enough. There's a lot of films around that are aimed at the holiday market, the Santa Claus, the Indian in the Cupboard, and the very feeble Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. We also had a new James Bond, Pierce Brosnan in GoldenEye, which, defiantly old-fashioned though it is, still raked in £3,600,000 on its opening weekend. But much better than any of those, indeed one of the best films of the year, is Babe, the story of a pig that thinks it's a sheepdog. It's funny, charming, touching, and blends live action, animals, and animatronics so skillfully that you simply can't see the joins. And that's why it completes my list of the 10 best.
What's got into you all of a sudden? I just got finished telling what a nice young pig you be.
Ma, I was just trying to be a sheepdog.
Huh, enough wolves in the world already, without a nice lad like you turning nasty. You haven't got it in you, young'un.
You and I are descended from the great sheepdogs. We carry the bloodline of the ancient Bahu. We stand for something. And today I watched in shame as all that was betrayed.
Rex, dear. It's just a little pig.
All the greater the insult.
I'm sorry I bit you. Are you all right?
Well, I wouldn't call that a bite myself. You got teeth in that floppy mouth of yours, or just gums?
You see, ladies, a heart of gold. No need for all this wolf nonsense, young'un. All a nice little pig like you need do is ask.
Thanks very much. It was very kind of you. A pleasure. Nice little pig.
Now there's a film that really brings home the bacon, if Babe will forgive the painful allusion. And that's it. On reflection, I admit it's not a scintillating list, but then it's not been a scintillating year. More style than substance, more hype than excellence. Nevertheless, though there may not be any great films in my selection, there's a lot of very good ones. And if by now you can't remember exactly what my choice was, well, here's a reminder, in no particular order of merit. Shallow Grave, The Shawshank Redemption, The Madness of King George, Bullets Over Broadway, The Usual Suspects, Braveheart, Apollo 13, Land and Freedom, Shanghai Triad, and Babe. And that's all for this year. I'll be back on January the 8th with a new series which, after much debate, we're seriously thinking of calling Film 96. But for the moment, as I leave you with this montage of the movies of 1995, may all of us here wish all of you a happy, healthy, and prosperous new year. Goodbye.
BBC Two, in just over 5 minutes, follows the making of a movie masterpiece as Francis Coppola battles typhoons, wars and a host of other problems, filming Apocalypse Now.